Welcome to Andy's Tech, your first stop for PC reviews, guides and builds. And to today's video, we're going to be having a look at this little PC I brought. I don't know anything about it, I brought it purely on face value. I believe it's an AMD Athlon X2. It's an old PC build, it was gathering dust and someone was going to throw it out. So I brought it off them for the grand sum of £5. The case doesn't have any sides, it's incredibly dirty and dusty inside. I've not had a look at the specs, I didn't try and power it on, I don't even know if it works. But it looks like it could do with a bit of love, and I think we should bring it back to its former glory. So let's get it set up, plugged in, see if it boots on, see if we've got any power, see if we can boot to BIOS, and then we'll go from there. Enjoy the video, folks. So we have power, let's switch it on, see if we can boot into the BIOS. There's no drives with this PC, so it will come up with the no bootable device, and there we have it. We've booted straight into the BIOS with the delete key. Let's see what we've got. I had a quick look. There's a GT210. Yeah, I know that came with this, and it's got a HDMI port, so this is working off the HDMI port on that. That all seems to work fine. I believe there's 4GB RAM. I had a quick look, and yeah, we've got 4GB RAM, so 4 1GB sticks. We'll maybe see if we can upgrade that to 8. And we've got an AMD Athlon 64 X2 dual core 6000 plus processor. We've got 3000 megahertz on the clock, 2 megabytes of level 2 cache. So I'm happy with that. It all seems to work fine. It's booted up fine. It's so dirty. It blew out a big cloud of dust when I turned it on, and I don't really want that in my flat. So I'm going to turn it off. Let's get it outside, get it cleaned, get some of this dust out, strip it down, clean it all up, put it back together, and see where we go from there. So while we get a time-lapse video going of me stripping down, cleaning and rebuilding the PC, let's have a little talk about what components we've got inside the case. So I found out we've got an AMD Athlon 64 X2 6000 plus. This is an AMD socket AM2 processor, codename Windsor, and based on a 90 nanometer architecture. It was released on February the 20th, 2007, and it has a clock speed of 3 gigahertz, a TDP of 125 watt. As we've already found out, it's got 1 megabyte of level 2 cache shared over 2 cores, so that's 2 megabytes of level 2 cache. And yeah, it should be an okay little processor. It certainly would have been a good processor in its time, and I guess it's on par with a sort of Core 2 Duo of around that era. It should be able to run Windows 10 still, hopefully, and maybe we can even see if it can run some games. But it is lacking modern instruction sets. I believe we've got SSE 3 but not SSE 4, but then it's not going to run the kind of games that need that instruction set. And looking at the motherboard, I've got a MSI K9N SLI Platinum, which seems to look like a nice little motherboard. Certainly well suited to this processor. And we've got a tough power Thermaltake 650 watt PSU. We've got 4 gigabytes of Corsair XMS2 DDR2 800 megahertz. I love this RAM, it's really cool. I love the heat spreaders on it. And yeah, I'm assuming it was an upgrade of some sort. Maybe the person who owned this computer just needed a HDMI video out, or maybe it was an afterthought after removing their main GPU. But we've got a NVIDIA GeForce GT210, which is a notoriously rubbish and underpowered graphics card. I think it's got like 16 stream processing units and 4 ROPs or something like that. But it is the DDR3 version, and we have 1 gigabyte of DDR3. So we might be able to run some retro games, maybe Half-Life 2, maybe even CSGO. We'll see if we can do something like that with it. So yeah, I mean, as a system of its day, you know, it would have been quite a high-end system, you know, sort of £1,000 system. And you know, I paid £5 for this. I can't wait to see what it can do. I can't wait to see what this little chip can still do in 2021. This is a 14-year-old computer now. I hope it can run Windows 10. I hope it can run some old games. So let's carry on with the time-lapse footage. I hope you enjoy that. And yeah, then we'll get into some benchmarking and testing and see what this old girl can do in 2021. Enjoy, folks. So here we are, folks, the finished result, and I must say it's cleaned up really nicely. I think you'll agree it looks almost as good as new, and it's running quietly, efficient and coolly now, with all that dust and horrible nastiness removed. So let's get it plugged back in, get Windows 10 on it and some software and games. See what this old system can still do in 2021. See if it can still do anything in 2021 with that GT 210. I'm not too it's not looking too promising, but let's see what it can do anyway. See what this old Athlon's still got. So let's roll that on. So first up we have World of Tanks, a popular free online multiplayer game, and we're running at 1080p native resolution. I set everything to low or off in the in-game settings. It wanted everything on high, but that just wasn't achievable. I don't know why it selected that with the GT210. But you know, we were seeing about 45 FPS plus, sometimes 50 FPS. It's slightly lower on screen due to the recording. It dropped to about 30 for that. But you know, it was smooth. There weren't too many dips or drops. It was quite stable, and it was certainly very playable at this resolution and these settings. And I was quite impressed, to be honest. So next up, we're going to jump into Team Fortress. I'm running here at 720p. I couldn't get 1080p to work. It was running at about 12 frames per second. But again, this is still quite a popular game. I think it was released in 2007. It's free on Steam. And you know, if you're running an older system or a potato system like this, you know, you can play these games on basically anything and they will run. And like we said, alright, the GT210 is not the best card, and coupled with this Athlon, it is holding it back. But you know, we're seeing a plus 30 FPS average. There are some dips, there are some stutters, more in this than in World of Tanks. But let's carry on. Let's see what we can do in CSGO. And yeah, at 720p, it absolutely tanked. We were getting about a 20 FPS, just over 20 FPS average. Very occasionally hitting 30 FPS. But you know, it was hovering around the high teens, early 20s, and yeah, not the best experience for CSGO, but again, it was playable, and if you wanted to waste a couple of hours in an afternoon or an evening just running around shooting people, you know, again, that's certainly doable. And for the cost of the PC, I know CSGO is a free game as well, you know, you can't really go wrong. I had fun, and that's the main thing really. If you're not having fun while you're PC gaming, and I love to see what this old systems and hardware can do. So last up, we're going to have Half-Life 2, so let's jump into that now and see what we can do in that. This is a game I've been getting back into recently after a long absence. I loved it when it came out, I still love it now. It's a brilliant game. It's only about £7 on Steam. If you haven't played it, buy it, you will enjoy it. We were getting about high 20s, just over 30s FPS, so about a 30 FPS average on this. It has dropped due to the afterburner on-screen recording. You know, again, it's very playable, and certainly it's quite a slow-paced game. You don't need massively high frame rates. It is an old game, so 30 FPS is quite low for it. It should be doing better than that, but we are running it at 1080p. If I dropped it to 720p, you'd be seeing about 45 frames per second. But for the sacrifice on the quality of the game, I prefer just to run it at 1080p. That's a mixture of medium and low settings. So yeah, thank you folks. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I've had a lot of fun bringing this old PC back to life and seeing what it can do. I hope you have too. I'm new to this, so please leave a dislike or a comment if you haven't enjoyed the video. Let me know what I can improve on. If you've liked the video, please leave a like or a comment, or please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more weekly videos. And thank you very much for watching, and take care.